Who are we missing? Tracy?
No, he's there.
Oh, good. I think everybody's here. What about John?
He's there too.
Oh,
John's
good.
here. Howdy.
Everybody is in attendance. It's 4:30 and I'm ready to begin. Who are we missing? Tracy?
No, he's there.
Oh, good. I think everybody's here.
Just mute that.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the regular monthly board meeting for the Tioga County Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, June 2nd at 4:32. The meeting is hereby called to order. I would ask Christine to do the roll call, please.
Jen Tecarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Here.
Tracy Manell.
Here.
Brett Stavrag.
Here.
John Ward.
Here.
Eric Knowles.
Here.
Before we move on with the meeting, I would just like to take a moment to discuss how we're going to proceed in the future with our meetings. Since we now can actually sit down in this conference room and meet, I would encourage any of the board members who want to do that to please join us and participate. But I also realize that we've all grown accustomed to Zoom meetings and the convenience and privacy of our homes. So I would like to be flexible enough here that if anybody wants to continue to do Zoom meetings, we offer both. So you can either join via Zoom or you can physically attend. How does the board feel about that?
I like the
This is Kevin. I'll see you next month.
Okay,
I like the option, to be honest with you, because there's times that we get caught up with stuff.
exactly. It's more flexible. Okay, I just wanted to run that by everybody and see how you felt about it. Let's move on with our regular meeting agenda. I hope everyone has had time to review the May meeting minutes. I'm seeking a motion to approve them, please.
Eric, so moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Moving on to the financials. Erin, is there any specific comments you'd like to make?
Looks good to me. I went through it. I don't see any problems.
I just want to point out one thing to note in the minute. On the balance sheet, page 2, under fixed assets, land Mitchell. Last year we're showing the 58,453, and now it's showing 0. That was something Jan did during our quarterly review to remove that asset due to the sale to Owego Gardens one many years ago. So just want to note in the minutes that wasn't a land sale during this year. It's just cleaning up a prior sale.
Thank you.
That's why we show a negative on the top of the
Right.
balance sheet for sale of property.
Can I have a motion, please, to acknowledge the financials?
So moved.
I'll make a
Aaron.
motion, John.
Thank you, thank you. Could we do roll call for both the minutes and the financials?
Jen Tecarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Brett Stavrag.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Great. Next on the agenda is Leanne Tinney.
Okay, so hello, everybody. On the progress of our education workforce coordinator position, Brittany had drafted a job description and also consulting services agreement. Eric kindly reviewed both and provided his input, and then we passed along to the governance committee, who also took a look at them and I believe are making the recommendation to approve both of these documents. Joe reviewed the consulting agreement. He has no issues with that either. So I think we've had everybody look at it. Christine forwarded it to you, so I'm hoping to get concurrence that we can go ahead and move forward with these documents as they have been presented. Additionally, Christine forwarded the talent supply final report, talent supply table final report, so hopefully had an opportunity to look at that. And I talked again with Mark Dixon earlier this week, and he asked to have the board also provide a motion approving an officer to sign an agreement with Hooker upon Joe's review for the grant fund, so that we have that all in place when we're ready to move forward. We'll have that in place, so when they come forward with an agreement, we'll be good to go to sign the agreement after Joe has reviewed it. So job description, consulting services draft, and approval to enter into an agreement, any officer to enter into the agreement with the Hooker Foundation on the grant funds. Just to give you a little additional information on that, Mark had requested that we look for other sources of funds. Two things. First, the initial request of Hooker was for $300,000. That was $100,000 a year for 3 years. That has since been reduced once we kind of relooked at it and considered how this position is going to be structured. Brittany looked it over and is reducing that now to $240,000 over 3 years, so $80,000 a year. And Mark had asked that we look for other sources to help fund that, and we've done so. Brittany has made application to ARC for funding and, to kind of alleviate some of the Hooker money if we can. So that's in the process as well. We don't, obviously it's kind of a long process with ARC, but we have made at least a pre-application and have those funds.
What do you need from us tonight?
I need tonight concurrence that you're all good with the job description and consulting services, and a motion to allow any officer to enter into the agreement with Hooker Foundation once we get to that point.
Leanne, can I pop in for just a sec?
Certainly.
Guys, one of the things with this kind of came out of the COVID committees that we had. The superintendents, there's 6 superintendents of schools in the county. And one of the issues we're having is we're headed in different directions. We have limited contact with the major employers in the county, right? We'll pass by somebody or we'll reach out, we'll get something going for a small piece, and then we don't continue it, whether it's on us or whether it's on them. But all the data shows that we've got a disconnect between getting our kids into the industries that really need them here and finding our pipelines, especially our internships and our opportunities to get the industry crossed over with our schools. So that's the thing. We're running around like crazy, but I mean, we're not liaisons between the business community. You know what I mean? That's not, we haven't really put that time in. So we've got 2 new superintendents coming on board. Corey and I have been pushing really hard for this to begin with. But we got 2 new smaller school districts coming on board with new superintendents, and the other 2 that are starting to engage a little more. So we thought this is the time, if we're ever going to pop this thing and connect our schools to our local government, to our business community. Now's the time coming out of this, because we all actually know each other and have been talking with each other once in a while. So that's kind of the impetus for where we got where we are.
Yep.
And I want to say a big thank you to Eric. He's really been, a driver in this effort, and I very much appreciate his role not only as superintendent in Waverly, but also as an IDA board member. Certainly gives a little more credibility to what we're trying to do. So thank you, Eric. I really appreciate your involvement in this process as we've been moving it forward.
I got to get somebody to pay taxes so I can keep my job.
Well, then I guess we're
Yeah,
seeking a motion,
For
correct?
somewhat selfish reasons, this is Kevin. I would say let's just, I'd make the motion to move this forward.
Yes, I
Yes,
second it.
thank you. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Jen Tecarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes,
Aaron Gowen,
Yes,
Tracy Manell,
yes,
Martha Stoutrive,
Yes,
John Ward,
yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
So one last thing on that, thank you, everybody. One last thing on that is I really need to give kudos to Brittany Woodburn, this has really been her baby. She has really worked hard on it and is ready to hand it off to somebody else at this point. But she's done a really great job in getting us to this point. So I want to make sure that she is acknowledged for her work on this.
And I read the strategy implementation, development strategy implementation. There's a lot of work in this thing. This is fantastic. So kudos to her.
One other question.
Mhm.
Will we have to set up a separate checking account for this? We don't need any more.
I don't believe so. Well, I don't know. Let's find out from, we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to show it on the balance sheet without having a separate checking account.
Right.
I would think so, but we'll confirm that.
Okay.
Seems like it's just gonna be an expense. It's a contractual expense. It should be easy enough to do.
Yeah, I agree. Let's not set up another checking account.
Okay.
Hard enough for new board members to try and get a handle on all this stuff. There's a lot of line items in these financials.
Yes.
So let me be clear, Adam. Aaron, you don't want another checking account. Are we clear on that?
So just so you know, next steps will be, Brett will be setting up a steering committee to head the process of looking for, potential candidates and doing the interview process and all that. Both Eric and Jenny have offered to serve on that committee. We'll be looking for also members from the business community and I don't know, a few others. She's got some other ideas in mind. Probably a 5 to 7 member steering committee to be doing the search and making the recommendation on a hire for the position. So we'll start that here very quickly. Good.
Smaller the better.
Okay. We won't ask you, Aaron. I have some other updates I'd like to give you under my EDP update piece here. On the land bank, I wanted to let you all know that we've been very fortunate to this point with the establishment of the land bank and moving the land bank projects forward, that we've had Teresa Sarcino as our director of the land bank. She did let me know here a couple of weeks ago that she's had about enough. And as of 1st of September, she is going to be stepping down as director. So there will be changes coming related to the land bank. Not exactly sure what it'll be yet, but I just wanted to let you all know that there are changes afoot on the land bank. Also, I just wanted to give kind of a brief overview of what's happening just within the department. Just to give you an idea what we're working on right now, we're managing 18 DRI projects, 6 Main Street projects. We've got the Owego Gardens 2 work going forward. We have 2 restore projects that we're managing, Owego and Waverly. We have 3 housing projects that we're working on at this point. Right now, we have identified 14 new potential grant opportunities across the county. We have 16 we have assisted in some manner. We have 16 pending grant applications out right now, waiting to hear on. And we have 21 active grants that we are actively involved in some manner across the county, with 1 grant that has actually been completed and put to bed at this point. So just wanted to kind of let you know that we've got lots going on. Busy time. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start with project updates?
Yes. So hopefully you can all see the Excel of the Owego Gardens 2 costs. The only, forgive me here. So we cut first payment to RV Robinson for $86,045. We made payment to Suez for their inspection fees. The original estimate was 72,750, and it came in at 73,750, so just 1,000 above what was anticipated, and no other expenses to date. Leanne has a few things she'd like to discuss regarding Legal Gardens too.
Okay. So Owego Gardens 2, with regard to the contract with Robinson, that's our work related to the water main and the tank work. So the site prep and stream relocation work has been completed. We're all good there. The water line anticipated start date is June 11th. It's slightly behind schedule, but that's having to do with Suez submittals and ordering of materials, but we're pretty good there. On the culverts, there were 2 culverts that needed to be installed on the access road. Culvert number 1 was installed on May 19th. Culvert number 2 is scheduled to be installed on Thursday, June 3rd. And then the completion of the access road is scheduled for June 10th. So that part of our contract will be done. Next will be the tank site. It is unknown at this time who is going to do the sub work for Aquastore. It has not been, Aquastore has not awarded it yet, so we're working through that right now. And on the pump booster station, if you might recall, we had to do an upgrade to the pump at the booster station. We agreed that that would be part of our contract.
Yeah.
And we have a meeting scheduled for June 9th to coordinate that activity with Suez, Aquastore, Fagan, and Robinson. So that part of the work will be commencing here pretty soon too. So the actual tank site work is anticipated to be completed by the end of June. And the tank build anticipated to start worst case by August 2nd, but hopefully before then. As far as other items we should be aware of, there are 2 things that I'm going to need from the IDA board to make decisions on tonight. One is regarding NICEAG, and the question was raised, would the IDA board like to have conduit run from the existing block on the west side of Belva-Lockwood Lane, run conduit under the road to the east side of Belva-Lockwood Lane, so that if the IDA were ever to develop that remaining small portion, we would have ready access to electric from there. So, you know, is the IDA interested in pursuing that? I do not have a cost associated to doing that yet. I've not met directly with NICEAG yet. I'm just trying to find out if there's interest in that. And the second has to do with topsoil. We'll talk some more about dirt. There is a potential that Gorick will want to move their stockpile of topsoil from the existing location on Johnson's farm out on Waits Road. There's about 4,000 cubic yards stockpiled there. They may want to move that back to the site and not leave it at Johnson's because of road issues with the town. So we have identified again that small area east of the construction site that's not within a wetland. And there's potential that we could stockpile that topsoil in that location. If we were to do so, the following points would need to be taken into consideration. 1, it would be imported only to the designated area. The import would impact less than 1 acre, so therefore no SWIP would be needed. Gorick and Home Leasing would have to create the access to the area. So in order to get there without disturbing any wetland, some trees will have to be removed. That Gorick and Home Leasing would be responsible for that. That there would be no impact to the designated wetland areas. That Gorick and Home Leasing would restore the property to original condition. And the IDA is already named on Gorick and Home Leasing insurance. So they haven't, Gorick and Home Leasing have not come to an agreement on this yet. But I told them and I would bring it to the board so that once they do figure it out between themselves, you know, if the IDA is okay with it, we'll already have that okay in place with these conditions. So those are the two things that I need action from the IDA board on. And as far as the additional update, the fire hydrant flow test was done. And looks like they have the flow that they need for fire suppression. They might not now have to put water storage tanks on site. So that's looking positive. And as far as status on the road repair, attended a meeting with Boric and attorneys in the town. And Boric has agreed to make repairs to the road that they have damaged on the way up to Johnson's Wicks Road. So that's moving forward as well. Home leasing is starting foundations on the upper building in the next week. So on the conduit, NICEAG conduit, west side of Belvalacqua to east side, how do you guys feel about that?
I think we need to find out the cost, right?
I'm not familiar with that area. I just don't have enough of it in my head, but my experience has been anytime you dig something up, it's always better to get whatever you need in the ground the first time.
Right.
So somebody else can speak to the area, the distance, what might be accomplished by it. But I've never seen a ditch dug and filled back in that didn't cost more money to dig it back up.
Right. It's good for future development.
And as far as the topsoil, I want to know why we moved it in the first place. And
Well, it's been moved around quite a bit, hasn't it?
So to answer that, Kevin, when Boric bid their project, and they bid with the Sun Home Leasing Project, not on the IDA project. So Boric won the bid with home leasing, and part of that was the removal of excess soil, anticipating, they take the topsoil and bring it back. So it was on Boric to identify an area that they could move the soil to. That was all part of their deal with home leasing. If you recall, Boric came to the IDA and said, hey, it'd be great. Can we just dump excess soil on the IDA site? And initially the IDA said, no, we weren't interested in allowing that to happen. They had to find another place. So they found a couple of other places. They were kicked off 2 places and ended up finally at Johnson's where they had identified where they could move the dirt to. And they had to move it off the site because the site is so embedded with wetland areas. There's not a lot of room to move around. They're very specific areas that they can be in. There just wasn't room on site to store that excess soil. They had to move it off site to be able to move around to get done what they needed to get done.
We took Robinson's soil, right, but not Goric's.
In the end, we took, because there ended up being a major, the town basically shut Gorick down from continuing to move dirt to Johnson's. So at that point, they had about 11,000 cubic yards left to move. And at that point, they came back to the IDA and said, can we just put the balance of our excess soil on the IDA site? And at that point, the IDA, with help from Fagan engineers, said, yes, you can put the remaining amount on the IDA site. So there was all the dirt before that, and then we took the last 11,000 cubic yards roughly. Which actually worked out pretty good.
This is not going to the same spot that Robinson's went and Gorick's leftovers went.
Correct. So the Gorick and Robinson dirt has gone
Up on top.
Up on top, yep.
Right.
And kind of filled in a little area up there. This is the last remaining piece of the IDA property in the village that's not in a wetland. It's a small area to the east of the construction site.
I don't know where anybody's putting any dirt, whatever. But back to the original question about the conduit, I'm with Kevin. If you're going to develop the other side of that place, then when you put it in, put it all in now, so we don't do it twice.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll sit down with NICEAG. I wanted to make sure that it's something that you all wanted me to take a little bit further. So I'll sit down with NICEAG now and figure out what that's gonna involve, what the cost will be. I'll come back to you all with that before we do anything definite, but I just wanted to make sure that that was something that you all would be interested in looking into further. So I'll gather more info on that.
What are we gonna do?
Okay,
with-
back to the dirt. I'm completely confused on this whole dirt thing. We move it here, we move it there, and now we want to move it back. What is the final outcome with this dirt? Is it going to sit in the pile there for the rest of its life, or is we going to sell it, or are they going to sell it, or what's the purpose of moving the dirt again?
Okay, so the dirt we're talking about is not part of the IDA contract, it's part of the home leasing contract. And it is the topsoil that Gork will be putting back down on the site once they get all of their moving everything around and building roads and putting in retention and all that. It's the topsoil, it was the good dirt that they had, that they'll bring back to the site and spread out and seed and finish the site with. So,
Okay, so the purpose is that they were going to move the dirt back anyway, they're just going to move it back sooner.
yes, and the
On
reason that
site,
they're looking.
and then move it around again.
Yes.
Right.
So the reason they're looking at bringing it back sooner came out of the meeting with the town. So part of the reason there was such an issue with the town road when they were taking the dirt to the Johnson site was the time of year. And it was the spring and everything was starting to loosen up.
Frost is leaving the road, there's weight limits
Exactly.
on the road, okay.
Exactly.
All right, I'm done, I'm okay, you can do whatever you want with the dirt.
Okay. Okay.
No more talking dirt.
I wish.
No more dirty talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So all I wanna know is, is it good with you guys that if they have to, they can bring it back to that area to the east with those conditions as I laid them out? Are we good with that?
Yes.
Yes,
This is Tracy. I make a motion, we let them put the dirt wherever they want to.
No, not wherever they want.
Okay. All right, so I know what to tell them. Sounds like, is there anybody greatly opposed to that?
No, I'm not opposed.
Okay, all right. That's what I needed. Thank you.
moving on.
Okay. So we canceled our public hearing for the West Bay Star pilot application. We're still in negotiations regarding potentially moving that forward if we can come to agreement on pilot payments. We have received the pilot application for Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services Incorporated. They will set up Temple and Liberty LLC upon application approval, and that will be the formal entity for the pilot agreement if approved. So we're seeking a motion to pass this resolution, acknowledging the receipt of same.
And sign the public hearing.
Yes. And we'd like to set the public hearing for June 23rd at 5 p.m. We'll host that by Zoom.
I don't know if you can. Joe, is it still okay to do Zoom public hearings?
Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Do we have a first to move forward with the resolution, please?
So moved, Aaron.
Second, please.
Second, John.
Thank you.
Jen Tecarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes,
Aaron Gowen,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes,
Martha Sabri,
Yep,
John Moore,
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're ready to move on to C and D yet, but I'm gonna put my legislator hat on here. I'm a little concerned of the amount of pilots that are coming in because it does affect the county budget.
Okay,
And I am worrying out loud about that. And Tracy, I don't know how you feel. You're the chairman of finance, but it affects it when it comes to budget time. Not that we have any control because you guys pretty much accept the pilots. So I just have to share that.
Do you want me to talk about each individual pilot and why they need to be approved? Because I can.
No, I don't know. Tracy, what do you think? I mean, maybe you, I don't know. It does really affect, because that's now 3.
I think Temple and Liberty though is crucial. I mean, that's
I
an area.
agree. No, and that's what I have no problem with.
I think,
Okay.
Marty, the issue that we look at as the school districts here is it messes with our tax cap as well.
That's what I mean. That's messes with our tax cap,
Yeah,
and it's wrong.
it's a state issue, right? Like, I mean, we need the development, we need these guys to move forward, but the way they set it up at the state level, it actually is a negative
That's
for
right.
legislative and municipal governments. Yeah,
So I'm just sharing where I'm coming from.
yeah.
So,
I hear
so
you.
the West Bay Star pilot, if we're gonna talk regarding real property tax, the West Bay Star pilot would start at what is being received for real property taxes right now. So we aren't gonna go backwards on that. So that would only be more, the same or more. on
Right.
West Bay Star.
I remember that.
Okay, so that's not gonna negatively impact revenue.
C
for
and D
the-
is the one that is I'm more concerned about.
So B, we're talking about 13 properties within that area that have been acquired by the land bank.
Yep, and
They now are in the process of being owned by the land bank. Land bank is tax exempt.
right, I got that. I'm talking
So-
C and D.
So,
I'm
so
like a lemon.
again, okay, so let's see.
See,
Oh, land bank, okay. So C, Sun Valley East, we need to talk about what the IDA would like to see for that. So that's part of the discussion we're going to have in executive. Thank you. And D, again, that is a potential project for the Matco building, the old SCI building. And again, in conversations with this business that is looking at coming in there, I let them know that that would not go to 0. They would have to start that at least what's being paid in real property taxes there as well. So we are mindful that we're not going to go backwards. I tell anybody who's interested in the pilot, we can't go backwards. And then, so I hear what you're saying, Marty, and I recognize that. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we're at least even, and then anything else will be more.
Thank you.
Okay. But back on B, so you have passed the resolution, you've set the public hearing.
Oh,
You need to talk about the agency fee, Christine.
thank you. So our typical pilot agency fee is 1% of the total project cost. Their total project cost is 13.8 million, roughly rounding, which would bring their agency fee to $138,073. They've requested a deviated agency fee of 1% of the cost of construction, which would bring the agency fee to $98,733. It's a difference of $38,340. They requested this deviated fee to be approved prior to pilot approval, so that if the pilot's approved, it's already set in stone what their fee would be. So I'm requesting board approval on this deviated fee tonight, please. And the reason for their request is just budget limitations due to cost of construction being so high right now.
In the scheme of
Yeah,
things.
I got one question about this whole project. Now, all these properties have been all gathered up and are going to be sold as one lump sum to this corporation or LLC, correct?
Yes.
And what's the total value that we have in that, and what's the total value we get back out of that?
So the properties are being purchased by the land bank for Tioga County. So IDA personally didn't put any investment in, nor will be the entity that sells it. I don't know that figure for the total acquisition or sale cost, but I'd be happy to obtain that from Teresa.
No, that's fine. It's somebody else's issue. I'm just trying to figure out if we had anything in it, and
No.
forgive my ignorance, but I just wanted to make sure that we weren't giving or talking about giving something back that we already gave away.
No, Christine's
Well,
right.
there-
All-
Now
all properties- all
back
properties-
to the deviation.
Yeah.
And now we put a 1% fee in, and we haven't, how many times have we used that 1% fee since we put it in place?
I don't think we've had a pilot since we put it in place, have we?
Yeah, we deviated for Owego Gardens 2 upon request.
That's right.
Yeah, but we put that in place in the middle of the We Go To Gardens, negotiations.
It
Said we were
was,
gonna use it going forward after that one, because that was already moving forward when we adopted it, correct?
it was the agency fee policy was updated to the 1% total project cost, like right before roughly a little over maybe 2.5 years ago. So we've had this 1% of total project cost for a few years. It used to be slightly less.
Okay, I guess my point is, if we just put it in place and we're already gonna start deviating from it, it sets precedent, and I don't think we'll ever have one of these projects go down where somebody doesn't ask for deviation.
Well, not retracting from your point, just throwing an example out there that BNS didn't request a deviation, so they did pay their full 1%, for example.
And I think a project like this
Okay.
is a little bit different, Kevin, because the sources of money to put these types of housing projects together are different than private funding. I mean, these are, they're looking for money through these programs to the state. They're very tight range, just like Owego Gardens, and, what money they're going to have available to put the project together. So,
So my
housing
question is
projects
this is Tracy. If
Yeah, what'd
we,
you say?
if we, say, no, we're not gonna deviate, are they gonna not do the project? Or are they gonna continue to go with the project anyway? I mean, we're talking about, they're gonna spend 13 point something million and they're worrying about 38,000.
That's how tight the budgets are. And I'm not trying to be a smart mouth.
I don't know. I mean, if it's a for-profit organization, I think you start, I'm with these guys. I think you start picking and choosing where you're going to do your 1% and not do your 1%. I'd ask Joe to chime in on that. I know I'd have all kinds of problems if I started applying that differently across everybody who came through the door.
And they're gonna ask, why wouldn't they? I mean, they're stupid if they don't ask for a deviation, but if we just say no and stand our ground, what are they gonna do? That's my question.
I'll add a piece of information coming from it's an aside, but just so you all know, when the New York State comptrollers were here, they did review and were aware of some of our prior deviations for agency fee. And because we had on record that the board was aware, they were all right with that. just an aside.
As long as it was.
You must have had a better person than the one I had in my office.
So they're paying the land bank $268,000 for all these properties.
214.
214.
Yep.
Okay. 38,000 is not a lot of money. They're getting a good price for the properties, although they got to tear them down.
No, the
bank
land
will
bank
be
tears
gone.
them down.
All
Yeah,
the
land
land
bank-
bank's
And
paying
that's,
to tear them
land
down?
that's the point.
The land
That's the
bank,
point. They're getting a hell of a deal on it, on the properties. So why are they worrying about dicking us around for $38,000?
Okay, so sounds like general opinion is not to allow the deviation.
Correct.
Okay,
I
I
agree.
think one thing that you really have to keep in mind here is that what Aaron just said, they're paying 214, but they're not doing any of the demolition. So, I mean, somebody's on the hook for all that demolition. This isn't all happening for $214,000. You don't buy a bunch of houses, tear them all down, make nice level ground, and sell it to somebody for 214 downtown Owego. It just doesn't happen.
Wow.
We've already deviated somehow. Maybe not our pocket, but somebody has deviated.
well, it's the land bank, and the land bank doing what it is they are tasked to do. Take these blighted properties and put them to a condition where they can be sold and made productive again. It is what the land bank is supposed to be doing.
the land bank has a certain amount of money, and when that money runs out, it's done. So if this organization comes back and says, oh, guess what? We can't pay you all that money. We're $38,000 short. I just don't want to see the land bank get screwed over on that one. So there's,
I can't believe that that's going to happen. They're talking about spending $13.8 million. $38,000 is not going to stop the train. I can't believe it.
okay, so that's the answer.
Okay,
Thank you.
See,
Thank you. So next month, we will do the inducement resolution formally acknowledging the Sun East Valley Solar LLC pilot application. And we are anticipating a pilot application from Global Environmental Energy. This one would anticipate to create 60 jobs and fill the vacant MAPCO building out near Corporate Drive. So this is just a heads up for now. We are requesting board approval to revise our solar policy that was put in place in 2017. Adding this specific line here, the IDA reserves the right to deviate from the terms of this policy at our sole discretion for a good cause shown. Basically, can I please have a motion to approve the update?
All moved, Aaron.
Make that motion.
Thank you.
Christine,
Yes, Joe.
did we get a resolution on Temple and Liberty?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. A motion accepting the application and authorizing the public hearing.
We did.
We
Megan
did.
has it written for minutes.
Pardon?
I don't
Yes,
think
we
we
did.
voted on it. I think we had a resolution first and second, but I don't think we voted.
oh, okay.
Okay, we'll do that again. Thanks, Joe. Let's do that right now. So voting on motion to approve.
Okay, who made the first and second? We say who made the first and second.
Aaron made the first and John made the second.
Okay, so Aaron Gowan made the first motion, John Ward made the second. Now we'll do roll call for that. Jen Ceccarelli? Yes. Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowan?
Yes.
Tracy Mel?
Yes.
Martha Sabri?
Yes,
John Ward,
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay,
Good catch.
Good catch. Absolutely.
He earned his money for the month.
Yeah.
That probably cost us a whole bunch of money right there.
it was worth it. It was worth it.
Okay. Are we good on approving the solar policy? Did I get everyone's vote for that?
I don't
Yeah.
think we did vote on
We
that.
didn't
All
go-
right, let's gonna do
Update to the solar policy. Do I have a motion to
We have a
move
person.
forward?
Like a person to sign.
Okay, let's vote.
okay, Jen Checkarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
Aaron Gowen,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes.
Brett Stabrach,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
Thank you.
We keep getting derailed here.
So, so next up is regarding loan committee. I obtained all of your email votes approving the at your door mobile dog grooming IRP loan. This is to affirm the email vote. John Ward will abstain and seeking your affirmed vote now. Jen Checkarelli?
Yes.
Wasn't it Eric that abstained?
It was me that abstained,
Oh,
Christine.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Thank you. Jen Checkarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowen?
Yes.
Tracy Manell?
Yes.
Brett Stabrach?
Yes.
John Ward?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we have received the request from Northern Tioga Chamber to host their duck race at, on the railroad tracks. RJ Corman approved the same. Joe recommended they add us as additionally insured, and I received that paperwork, so just seeking board approval to give them the go-ahead to host this race on their property. We don't need a motion.
They were gonna do it last year, but they obviously couldn't.
So, okay with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, any opposed? Great, thanks. Sales tax exemption report, Owego Gardens 2 is within their authorized limit and continues to provide monthly reports. We still have the ag value chain study ongoing, and Megan's facilitating that. It's almost complete. We received formal approval from FEMA for the Monkey Run grant application. And you can see here the total project cost, the awarded federal share, and the IDA match is $7,079.06. Prior approved by the board, so I'll coordinate with Soil and Water to complete that project hopefully by the end of summer. And regarding the Richford Railroad, that still needs repair and to be raised and widened due to flooding issues there. We're now asking board approval to apply to the Division of Homeland Security for a grant to fund the engineering study. RJ Corman's committed to making that match. So can I please have a motion to approve submitting in the name of IDA?
So moved.
I make that motion.
Thank
This
you.
is Tracy. I'll second.
Jen Checkarelli?
Yes.
Kevin Gillette?
Yes.
Aaron Gowen?
Yes.
Tracy Manell?
Yes.
Brett Stabrach?
Yes.
John Ward?
Yes.
Eric Knowles?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We will be having executive session tonight, so I'm seeking a motion to move into that. If I could, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second, John.
Just going to